feel good. There's so many ways that can be abused, and many of them it's maybe even hard to see what they are. But it's a big pitfall of teacher-student relationship. So how to avoid power abuse? I mean, the students can abuse power too. It's a powerful position for the students too. How to avoid abusing our positions and not getting into power struggles is to be without self. Someone was just working on a precept about how to not be angry. How to not be angry in what Bodhidharma said is don't posture. Let go of the posturing self is how not to be angry. There's no self. Who is there to be angry? What is there to make me angry? Just be this. Just be this moment. So in the same way, the way to avoid power struggle is to be no self. Come from no self. The fact is, of course, that nobody does, because that's impossible. Because we're human. We have both sides. We have relative, absolute no self, absolutely just being here. From the relative side, we all have still some shell. So that was the revelation that came to me working on this koan. The last talk I gave, which was about 10 years ago, was that shell doesn't just belong to the student. I had always thought, well, that's the student stuff. The teacher is pure and clean. But, you know, that shell belongs to the hen, too. The student and hen, chicken and hen, made that shell together. So when we're pecking, we're working on both of our stuff. That's the student-teacher relationship. And it's just marvelous when it works. It's marvelous to be able to do that, to be able to wake up together. Wake up to what? This no self. But that, of course, is, again, talking about what happens. Drop the shell off, be no self. Then what is that? That awakened life, free from my patterns, my greed, anger, ignorance. Be able to really enjoy every moment completely. And, of course, things are hard. Of course, there's terrible things, terrible suffering going on in the world. So when I say enjoy, that's probably the wrong word. To be able to be with that with total freedom, and to have the freedom to do something about it. Instead of being so caught up in my stuff that I'm like can't move, to have the freedom to heal the world. Is it Earth Day today? Or did that already happen? Oh, is it Earth Day today?
Friday.
Oh, I was thinking maybe this is the Earth Day theme. It's Easter today. This is the egg. But yeah, if we're not all caught up in our stuff, there's so much more energy to take care of the world. And also when we see the world as one, when we quit seeing it as separate, then of course you spill a whole bunch of oil in the ocean. Lots is going to be affected. Everything's affected by our actions. So anything I clean up affects the whole world. Any mess I make affects the whole world. And how our energy goes towards the cleaning up, the healing, is no self, which comes from breaking out of that shell. And of course that loving action is from the three tenets. Not knowing, which is working with our ideas. That's that study the self. Or actually that's forget the self. study the self, forget the self is not knowing. Study the self from the standpoint of not knowing. Let go of ideas and concepts. Be not knowing. Bear witness to my stuff so I can let it go. See it, let it go, and then loving action. That's what comes out of that all dropping off. It's loving action. And that's the point of koan study. The point of koan study is not to learn a bunch of stuff about Buddhism or to get the Zen method or whatever. The point of koan study is to wake up. And each koan's a little turning device, a little doorway to wake up. And then working with it, the points you don't quite get, that's where the doorway is. Really? What is that? So just putting together something that sounds good, that's like Zen talk, Zen speak, and it sounds good, it's not breaking through a colon. It's not breaking through that shell. Any place that you don't quite get, what is it? What is it? So the student says, I'm pecking, and please, you teacher peck. So the student says, I'm really sincere. I'm really practicing. I want to wake up. Please, teacher, help me. Please help me. And that expression is essential for teacher-student relationship, that the student is open. There's the story about the cup of tea, which I always like. The student and teacher are having a cup of tea, and the teacher just keeps pouring it, and it starts overflowing. And the student says, "What are you doing? Your tea's all falling out." And the teacher says, "I can't put anything in there because it's already so full." So that's us. As long as I'm full of my ideas and concepts, it's very hard for a teacher to help me. So to have that kind of expression of, I really want to do this, and I really am opening up to what you have to say, which does not, again, mean my teacher right or wrong. If it doesn't feel right, throw it away. If it doesn't feel right, talk about it. And myself for Doksan, I really appreciate it. In Doksan, there's that power differential, and it's very hard for me to have a horizontal conversation with you in Doksan. It's just because of the whole setup. There is a power differential. But I'm always open to meeting and talking about what happened in Doksan. That was scary, that was too much, I didn't understand. And I can do that on a horizontal level. I can do that without being teacher. But it's harder in Doksan. So if something doesn't feel right and you really need to talk about it, come and see me outside of Doksan and let's talk about what's going on a horizontal way, without the power, to avoid power abuse. So anyway, teacher says, well, if I do crack your shell, will you be alive or not? And of course we can see that as, I don't want to do it too soon. Because are you really ready? Are you really ready emotionally or whatever? Have you done the work so you're ready for waking up? Or are you ready for my instruction? Is it a little too vulnerable right now? So are you really ready? We can see it that way. But of course this no self, this waking up, dropping off myself, we tend to talk about it in terms of death rather than I'm going to be alive. My ego's going to die. So when he says, are you going to be alive or dead? You could say, are you really dead yet? Have you really dropped off yourself yet? And the student says, if I weren't alive, I'd be laughed at by people. And it's hard to tell if he just doesn't get it at all, or if, isn't this something that we've all thought? If I really give up my ego, if I really give up myself, I'll be a fool. It's true, you will. If I give up my positioning and my, the things we hold on to that makes our life work, if I really give that up, people will laugh at me. I'll just be a fool. Just rather than managing everything, so everything's working just the way I want it to work, I'll be at effect of the universe. And that's a thought we have. And one thing I can say that may alleviate your concern is the ego stays around. And that's how we talk about relative and absolute. Our personality does stay with us. And there's certain aspects of our personality that are pretty hardwired. So seeing the emptiness of my personality, seeing that it doesn't exist, still, we all have personalities. I just got, my birthday's coming up, I just got my first birthday wish, which was, oh, you're a Taurus, now we understand. But we have personalities. I do have a very Taurus personality. Stubborn, love food. So this change is more that realizing that it's empty. I'm not so run by my personality. I can, to use Werner Erhard words, I can get off it easier. Get off my position easier. But anyway, I think that's a fear that we have in this practice is, I know. And as I was saying yesterday, this practice continues forever. So this pecking, and with whoever our teacher is, whoever, we do that with each other in the Sangha, we're pecking at each other. It's going on all the time, and there's always something more to practice with. But realizing that oneness is so much easier. So anyway, he says, if I'm not alive, I'd be laughed at, and Kiyosei says, you too are a man of the weeds. And again, the weeds are another way of saying ideas, concepts, patterns. If you're still alive, you're still hanging out in those weeds. Come out and see the clear, bright sun. And we go back in the weeds and then come out again. That's what our practice is. And the most important is recognizing that this moment is it. This moment is awakened. So we can make these metaphors about the shell and the weeds, but in fact, this moment is it. And just be that.